You've done hard things before. You just forgot. So if you have listened to the last episode, you know we said goodbye to the version of you that worked really hard and finished her job. So today I want to talk about something else you've quietly misplaced. Certainty. Because here is what I know about you. You're not actually doubting yourself because you cannot do hard things, because I know you can. You're doubting yourself because you have become so familiar with what you have already accomplished that you stopped counting it. You forgot that there was a time when your current life was just a wish, a hope, a quiet dream. And maybe one day, think about it. Remember that hot guy, the one everyone wanted? He's your husband now. Remember that car you used to cut out of magazines like full-on collage mode, tape on the wall, dreaming? Now you might be driving it and complaining when the gas light comes on. Remember when you used to think, if I could just get my life together. And now you are in a relationship you once hoped for. You live in a home you once dreamed of. You do things daily that once felt intimidating or impossible. You make decisions with confidence you didn't used to have. You rely on a level of stability that past you would have cried over. And yet, here is the wild part. You are so familiar with all of it now you barely notice it. You don't wake up thinking, wow, I made this happen. No, you wake up thinking, I need more coffee. And here is exactly where certainty gets lost. Not because something is wrong with you, but because you forgot to count the evidence. Here is what I want you to really hear. You are already living inside things that once you prayed for. You didn't manifest them from being perfect. You didn't wait until you were confident. You didn't have some secret mindset formula. You just wanted them badly enough that you paid attention. You talked about them, you thought about them, you imagined them, you put yourself in rooms that scared you a little, around people who stretched you, in environments that made you level up, and then your brain did what it is wired to do. It filtered for what mattered. That's not magic, that's biology. Your brain has a built-in system that says, oh, this is important, cool. I'll help you find it. That's why when you want something badly enough, you start noticing opportunities you swear weren't there before. They were. You just weren't looking yet. But here is where it flips. Most of us accidentally train our brain to focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what's stressful, what we were scared of screwing up. So of course, everything feels harder. So let me pull you back to something simpler. When you picture the parent you're becoming, what comes up? Not the Pinterest version, not the perfect one either, the real one. Is it calmer, more present, less reactive, more confident, more at peace with herself? That version of you isn't waiting on a breakthrough. She's being built in a moment you don't post about. Every time you pause instead of snapping, every time you repair instead of shutting down, every time you choose connection over control, it's not small, that's everything. And if you could rewind to past you, even a year ago, she would be stunned by how you handle things now. She dreamed of this version of you. You just forgot she existed. Some of these were big dreams, some were tiny ones. But every single one of them was once not real. And yet, here you are. So let me ask you something gently. What do you have today that you once dreamed about and now barely notice? That question alone can reinstate more certainty than any motivational quote ever will. Because certainty isn't something you manufacture, it is something you remember. So let's demystify this for a moment. You didn't get here by accident. There was a pattern. Every time you have ever achieved something meaningful, one of three things happened. First, the desire became strong enough, or pain became loud enough, or clarity finally cut through the noise. And at some point you said, not another second of this. And then something shifted. You focused, not perfectly, not constantly, but consistently enough. You talked about it, you thought about it, you imagined it, you moved toward it. You put yourself in new environments, around new people with new conversations. And here is where science comes in. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, the RAS. It's the filter that decides what gets your attention. That's why when you decide you want a certain car, you suddenly see it everywhere. But trust me, it didn't just multiply overnight, it just your awareness did. Focus plus emotional intensity tells your brain, find it, create it. But here is the problem. Most of us accidentally train our RAS on fear instead of possibility, on stress instead of direction, on what could go wrong instead of what we're building. So of course, everything feels harder than it is. Now, picture the future you. Again, but differently. When you picture the parent you're becoming, what qualities rise up? Not achievements, not goals, ways of being, calm, presence, confidence, peace of mind, patience. Here is the truth. Those qualities aren't waiting in the future. They're being built right now, quietly. Every time you choose connection over control, neuroscience calls this experience-dependent plasticity. I call it proof. Now, go back for a moment. A month ago, a year ago, that version of you wasn't failing. She was learning. She was caring a lot, trying things without a blueprint, doing the best she could with the tools she had. She doesn't need your judgment. She deserves your respect. Because without her, you wouldn't be here. So imagine her watching you today. Would she be proud of how you show up now? Of the boundaries you hold? Of the moments you choose differently? There was a time she dreamed of being exactly where you are right now. And that matters. So before we close today, I want you to slow down with me. Thoughts are just like clouds passing through the sky. You don't need to chase them. Feel your breath. Feel your heartbeat. Your body holding you without effort. Step outside today if you can. Notice the sky, the air, the ordinary beauty we hurry past. Because life isn't happening in your to-do list. It's happening here, right now. And your future self would give anything to feel this exact moment again. So tonight, ask yourself, what did I do today that the future me will thank me for? Even if it felt small, especially if no one saw it. You've done hard things before, and I know you're doing them again. And you are doing better than you think. Okay, my sweet friend, thank you so much for being here with me today, and I cannot wait to see you next time.